Up next on Live It Up, it's one of my favorite segments. That's because Beth Page is here, and you know I love Beth Page. With us now is John Witterschein, and we're going to be talking about his position as Vice President of Consumer Lending. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Great to be here, Donna.
Good. In the green room, we were talking a little bit about the fact that you love ballparks. So when you travel for business, sometimes I guess you check out a ball game?
Yes, I do. I like the ballparks in Pittsburgh, St. Louis, which is the one you've been to a lot. You're from St. Louis. And of course, the ones in New York aren't bad either.
There you go. How did you become a baseball fan? Growing up, you always were?
My father was a minor league baseball player, so I really had no choice.
Really? What position did you play?
I forget.
Okay, but now you're on a team. You're on your own team, right? You're on the Love Beth Page team. What do you do as Vice President of Consumer Lending?
Well, I manage the consumer loan products, which include anything from a credit card to an auto loan, whether you're refinancing your auto loan to save money or you're purchasing a new car, or a home equity loan or line of credit.
Okay, and that home equity line of credit is also known as a Heloc?
Yes.
Okay, and how does that work exactly? What is a Heloc?
Well, it's a second mortgage against your home. Technically. So whereas your mortgage you'll borrow against your home for, let's say, maybe 60% of the home's value, maybe up to 80. If you have enough equity in your home, you can also add a home equity line of credit or a home equity loan up to about 80% or maybe even 85% loan to value.
Really? And what are some of the things that people are allowed to use a home equity line of credit for?
Well, the more popular uses are for large expenses, expected or unexpected. So home improvements, that's the number one thing people use a HELOC or a home equity loan for. But they can also be used to pay tuition, pay off a car loan, car repairs, or anything else unexpected.
Well, I had my mortgage through Beth Page years ago, and then also had a HELOC. And you're right, I used mine to help pay for my kids' college education. You know, because it just made sense to me at the time. So it was a good way for me to go.
That's a great usage, and the interest rate is really low. We offer a promo rate for 1 year for $2.99, and after that it goes to prime, which is currently 3.5%. So it's a very low rate, and often it's the interest is tax deductible.
Okay, well now see, I didn't know that either. So there's a lot to know. So if somebody wants to apply for a HELOC, how could they go about applying?
It's very similar to the way you would apply for a mortgage. So you would need to prove your income and employment and have a decent credit FICO score. And from there, we'll help you right through the closing. And we typically close the loans in one of our 34 branches.
Now, if somebody's FICO score isn't so great right now, I know one of the things that Beth Page does is they'll help them kind of go through and say, okay, well, maybe you don't qualify now, but if we can get you to this point, maybe you can qualify next year.
Yes, we do a lot of that. We work with our members. And because you have a low FICO score, that doesn't necessarily mean we won't do the loan. If you have a spouse with a strong FICO score, or if you have really strong income or savings, that can also help you. And of course, the most important thing for the home equity loan or line of credit is that loan to value. So if you keep it under 80% and even lower, that typically helps a lot.
Okay, and you also said that people could use it for many different things. So if, you know, maybe a spouse is not feeling well, you know, or your child broke their leg or whatever, and your deductible's like 80%, you know, different things that could be used to help families in many different ways.
Absolutely. That falls into that category of unexpected expenses that unfortunately come along every once in a while. And sometimes it's a happy expense like a wedding. So folks do finance their wedding. And the beautiful thing about a home equity line of credit is you use it when you need it. So if you have to pay for a wedding, what does a wedding go for these days?
It could be quite up there.
I got married last July, so
congratulations.
I know. And you can borrow, say, $30,000. I don't know where I got that figure from.
Who knows? But yeah.
Then you can pay it off when you can.
Yeah. Well, that's fantastic. Well, thank you very much for joining us. Now, do you work at the main headquarters?
Yes, in Beth Page.
And do you visit some of the branches sometimes
as
well?
Yes, I try to get out as often as I can.
Okay, so Vice President of
Consumer Lending.
I was going to say Consumer Lending, yes. So thank you very much for being here. It's always a pleasure. I learn so much every month from Beth Page, and it also helps, I think, for people that are maybe, you know, thinking about doing something on their home, like, are we going to do the pool this year? Are we not? Are we going to, you know, try to have a staycation, you know, instead of people going on vacation? A lot of people now are fixing up their backyards and things, so.
Well, you bring up a good point, because interest rates were so low for mortgages over the last 5 or so years that if you move, you might not necessarily get that same low rate, so you might want to stay in your home and just improve upon it, and that's where a home equity line of credit would come in handy.
Make it your own home of your dreams.
That's right.
There you go. It's easier than like packing everything up anyway, right?
So, yeah, it sure is.
Thank you. Thanks for being here. Stay tuned for more on Live It Up. We've been visiting with John Witterschein, and he is with Bethpage Federal Credit Union. Thanks again.